Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
let me keep going. No, let me keep going.
Perfect. Well, I
did not know she was being transferred.
Before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because we bring you the biggest congressional hearings and breaking political news as it happens. Breaking, Attorney General Pam Bondi faces intense questions over Ghislaine Maxwell's prison transfer, special privileges, and whether Donald Trump should ever consider clemency. Lawmakers demanded answers about why Jeffrey Epstein's convicted co-conspirator was moved to a lower security facility, whether she received special treatment behind bars, and if the Justice Department had any role in the decision. Let's break down exactly what happened.
Who ordered her to be transferred to the minimum security prison that she was ineligible for? Who signed off on the special privileges? Was it Mr. Blanche? Was it one of your other subordinates? So please, can you tell us who sent her there, since you don't agree she should be there?
I said I do not agree she should receive special treatment. She was transferred, I learned after the fact, to the same level facility, and that is...
Attorney General Pam Bondi faced tough questions during a House Judiciary hearing over Ghislaine Maxwell's prison transfer, alleged special treatment, and whether she should ever receive clemency. This video explains the key exchanges, what Bondi said, and why the issue remains controversial.
Everybody else here and throughout the country believes that convicted sex offenders don't deserve special treatment or privileges in prison. And yet Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, received perk after perk in prison. In July, she had a 2-day interview with your deputy and President Trump's former defense attorney, Todd Blanche. Just days after that, Maxwell was transferred from a federal correctional institution in Florida to a minimum security camp in Texas, which she, as a sex offender, would normally be ineligible for. At this new facility, as the ranking member talked about, and by the way, it's nicknamed Club Fed, we've heard reports that she's been afforded special privileges: puppy time, private workouts, personal mail, secretarial services. Attorney General Bondi, does a convicted sex offender like Ghislaine Maxwell deserve special treatment and privileges in prison? Yes or no?
Let me be crystal clear on this. No. And
Thank you.
Let me keep going. No, let me keep going.
Perfect. Well, I
did not know she was being transferred.
I asked you yes or no.
She was not transferred to a lower
Mr. Chairman,
level.
please stop the clock and remind the witness of the rules. One rule she needs to understand here.
And I'm glad that we're agreeing. So when we're agreeing, we can move on to some other things. But I want you to know that every time she does get these perks, and it's been publicly reported, that the folks she's abused, the survivors who are sitting here, they see themselves as being denied justice. They feel re-traumatized. And I'm glad that we agree on that. But she should not be in that prison. And she needs to be moved back to a maximum security prison as soon as possible. But what she has told another committee here is that she won't cooperate with them unless she gets clemency from Donald Trump. It's just crazy to consider that she can be wielding this kind of influence within the administration. But that begs the question: who ordered her to be transferred to the minimum security prison that she was ineligible for? Who signed off on the special privileges? Was it Mr. Blanche? Was it one of your other subordinates? So please, can you tell us who sent her there, since you don't agree she should be there?
I said I do not agree she should receive special treatment. She was transferred, I learned after the fact, to the same level facility, and that is a question for the Bureau of Prisons. I was not involved in that at all. The same level facility, I don't know why, but you know, instead of talking about Ghislaine Maxwell, who hopefully will die in prison, hopefully will die in prison. You
I
should be
have a
talking
couple-
about Irina Zarutska,
I have a couple
who
of
died
other
on a
questions.
subway.
Right, and I absolutely...
You don't talk about that.
I have been talking about it and actually helping with these issues. But we're going to move back to you.
I bet we are.
Yes, of course, because you're here to testify. That's what the whole point of this endeavor is. So of course we're moving back to you. It is all about you. So as we've heard, she took the fifth in response to every single question in that committee hearing. And her lawyer dangled the offer of clemency. Should Donald Trump pardon or commute her sentence? Should she be released from prison, yes or no? You said you hope she dies there, so I'm hoping the answer is no.
I already answered that question.
Good. I'm very glad. I really like this bipartisan agreement about
Well, when
what
it
should
agrees
happen
with
with
you.
her.
But you
Yes.
don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You don't want to talk about
I talk about her
murdered
all
by
the
a
time,
violent crime
but
offender
I am not
in
here
your
to
jurisdiction.
testify before Congress. You are. That is your job today.
You are
That's what you're getting paid
obsessed
for.
with attack.
Time belongs-
So
Time belongs to
I
Ghislaine.
want you to know that your own DOJ employee, he's recently been demoted and had some other problems, advises on pardons. Do you think he will be advising Mr. Trump on any kind of clemency or pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell?
I'm not going to speculate, and you couldn't even identify properly. That's why you don't want to talk about Irina Zarutska. You couldn't properly identify her relative.
I absolutely
It's embarrassing.
have been, and her family, by the way, appreciates all of the condolences, all of the help, everything that our law enforcement in North Carolina has been doing to help her family. Her family feels well treated. Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentleman from California is recognized.
I'd ask unanimous consent to enter into the record an article by former Attorney General William P. Barr entitled, "Why Pam Bondi Did..."
One of the most intense moments during the House Judiciary hearing came when Attorney General Pam Bondi faced questions about the treatment of Ghislaine Maxwell, the convicted associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Before Bondi's testimony, a member of Congress entered several news articles into the official record concerning recent reporting on immigration enforcement and the resignation of an FBI agent. The hearing then shifted to Maxwell and the Justice Department. Representative Deborah Ross of North Carolina began by asking whether convicted sex offenders deserve special treatment while serving prison sentences. Ross specifically pointed to Maxwell's reported transfer from a federal correctional institution in Florida to a minimum security prison camp in Texas. She also referenced media reports alleging Maxwell had received privileges such as additional recreation time, private workout opportunities, personal mail accommodations, and other benefits. Ross asked Bondi directly whether Maxwell deserved any special treatment. Bondi's answer was straightforward. No. The Attorney General said she did not believe Maxwell should receive any special privileges while incarcerated. Ross pressed further, arguing that every report of favorable treatment sends the wrong message to victims of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, many of whom continue seeking accountability. She then asked to authorize Maxwell's transfer to the lower security facility and whether someone within the Department of Justice approved the decision. Bondi responded that she learned about the transfer after it occurred and said she had not been involved in the decision. According to Bondi, questions regarding prison placement should be directed to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, which oversees inmate housing assignments. Ross continued by asking whether President Donald Trump should ever pardon or commute Maxwell's sentence. Bondi did not indicate support for any such action and had already stated that she hoped Maxwell would remain in prison. Ross interpreted that as agreement that Maxwell should not receive clemency. The discussion then turned to reports that Maxwell had invoked her Fifth Amendment rights during previous testimony and that her attorney had suggested clemency as part of broader discussions. Ross asked whether a Justice Department official responsible for pardon recommendations might advise President Trump on Maxwell's case. Bondi declined to speculate on hypothetical future decisions. As the questioning became more heated, Bondi attempted to shift attention toward violent crimes committed against American citizens, arguing that Congress should also focus on those victims. Ross interrupted, reminding Bondi